Tziva Yeshayo Havi Moshe Oven Bechavli Hashov. They draw the sin with ropes which have no value. And it's like the rope that binds a wagon. That's the sin has become that. And the Chafetz Chaim goes to explain what the Gemara says. It's like a silk strand. In have multiples, hundreds of multiples of this thin strand. Especially this sin, which in its own right, we equate it to the three cardinal sins. People transgress this sin, violate it thousands of times during their lifetime. And they're not even cognizant. There's no commitment to be careful not to cross that line. So the damage in the spiritual realm is untold damage. Could you imagine? When you think about Rabbeinu Yonah speaks about tshuva, the concept of tshuva, and this is why Rabbi Shoslant asked the question. The Navi, before the destruction of the first Beis Hamikdash, he goes to the Jews and says, you have to do tshuva. You failed to such a degree, and if not, the Beis Hamikdash is going to be destroyed. So they said to the Navi, we're too far gone. It's too late. There's no way we could come back. And they didn't do tshuva. And as a result of that, the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. So Rabbi Shoslant asks, we, which are not even in infinitesimal percentage of what they were, as it says, if you classify them as angels, you could classify us as ordinary people. And if you classify them as people, you should classify us as donkeys. And not even the chamor of Pinchas ben Yoyer. So if that's the case, when we hear the shofar, Rosh Chodesh Elul, and we know we have to start saying Dover Hashem Ori, right away, we already have pangs, or we have stirrings of tshuva within our heart. They, with a Navi, that the Kuzari writes that we can't even fathom, relate to the person who saw a prophet. The Amoritz who saw a prophet, we can't even relate to what that person was. And they, when the Navi speaks to them, they say, we're too far gone, we can't do tshuva. I guarantee he was very articulate. He transmitted that message very clearly. And they said, we can't. And us, we hear the sound of the shofar. At the beginning of Elul, right away, we take out our mouser and we start introspecting and we start doing tshuva. Why? So he goes to explain that we have no inkling or understanding what sin means. What's a sin? We did the wrong thing, God will do the right thing. We're not going to do it again. They were at a level, they saw the ramifications of their sins. They saw the level of destruction it brought about. That they destroyed worlds. Could you imagine? The example they always give, the atomic bomb falls on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Literally, it's destroyed, meltdown, destruction, not to be understood. And somebody says that if you say these words and you have these feelings, instantaneously it's going to be rebuilt. You say, something, you better commit yourself to an insane asylum. You don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking? Impossible. The members of the first Beis Hamikdash period, they understood the levels of destruction they brought about. Endless worlds at a level which you can't bring back. The Navi says, God said there's a mechanism. It's called tshuva. You have true remorse and you commit yourself to the future, never to cross that line again. All the worlds we rehabilitated, recreated, even at a more advanced level. They said, Rabbi, we're too far gone. There's no way. Could you imagine a person's a paraplegic, an amputee, he's blind, and they say, you take a smell of this fragrance, your feet regrow, you begin function again, and you could dance like nobody danced before. As they used to say, tell it to the Marines. What are you talking about? It's impossible. But that's a reality. Because they understood the levels of destruction and damage and how clogged those arteries were, the pathways that spirituality flows, they said impossible. What do we understand what a sin is? We did the wrong thing. Today you have a person, he embarrasses a person publicly, and somebody says, do you realize what you just did? He says, what did I do? Don't you realize you embarrassed them? People are so out of touch of their behavior, but not only, we're so far from understanding the innate negativity and destruction of what that is. I'll give you an example. A person takes a trace of cyanide and he touches his tongue. He dies instantaneously. It's so lethal, the body cannot process that. All systems shut down. How's it possible? A small, tiny, barely noticeable amount of powder touches your tongue. The person dies. If you understood the level of lethalness of that particular compound, you'd understand why his system shut down immediately. If we would understand the innate lethalness of sin, what it does to our soul, what it does to existence, you'd understand why the system shut down.